Hello again everyone, it's Vladimir from Foxy Voxel. We've just launched our 9th update for Going Medieval, which you can download now on Epic Games Store, Steam and GOG. For this update, we've made changes to how various aspects of the natural world are simulated in the game. Things like sunlight, temperature, and snow now behave more realistically and will impact the game in new and significant ways. Our temperature system now takes into account the warmth generated by certain elements of the game environment. This includes animals and sunlight, which heats up anything it touches. Both hot and cold temperatures spread through the environment more naturally now. For example, through windows and floors. The temperature rating of an object or room will be influenced by nearby areas, like a next-door kitchen or other warm rooms, for example. You now have more important decisions to make as you seek to control the temperature of areas in your settlement. Depending on how and where you build rooms, you can manipulate the direction of sunlight and the heat it generates. You can even place a large number of animals beneath a bedroom, and this will help keep your settlers warm during winter. This is actually something people did in the medieval period. They typically used livestock, but pretty much anything can be a heat source in Going Medieval, including candlelight, people, and even rats. Sunlight, in addition to heating things up, will also affect settlers. This can help keep them warm, but during summer, watch out for heat waves. If your settlers stay in the sun for too long, they'll get a sunstroke, which will cause them to work slower and throw up. You can avoid a sunstroke by making sure your settlers don't work in the direct sunlight during the summer, or by scheduling plenty of breaks so they can cool off under a tree. A settler's choice of clothing can also have an effect on their temperature, so by putting a nice, wide-brimmed hat on their heads, you'll protect them from the powerful rays of the sun. You'll also find that the location of the sun and its angle of sunlight will change depending on the season. We've made some changes to the way plants grow too. You can now sow them in more places, including indoors, but if they don't get enough sunlight, then they either won't grow or will become stunted. Stunted plants are smaller than usual and yield far fewer resources. You can get stunted trees too. This can happen when they grow too close to each other or if they're planted next to a building. This means that you'll need to approach planting a little more strategically now. It is possible to successfully grow plants and even trees indoors, but you'll need to make sure that there are plenty of windows to let sunlight through. Like with temperature, the seasons will also have a role in how you sow plants and trees. It will be tricky to grow anything successfully in winter or early spring, as the days are shorter and the amount of sunlight is limited. However, in summer, you can actually sow in the shade, as there's so much sunlight to go around. We've added several new environment effects too, which work in tandem with the temperature and sunlight changes. Snow now slowly melts if your settlers walk through it, or if the area temperature is high enough. It's more likely to melt if it's in direct sunlight too. You'll also notice that everything looks a little bit more wet when it rains now. This applies to both the environment and your settlers. Wetness is more than just a visual thing, as it will affect the temperature and comfort of your settlers. This is useful in the summer, as it will help cool them down, but if they become wet during winter, they might start to freeze. By putting settlers in the sunlight or a warm room, you can remove the wetness effect. Certain types of clothing will change how long they stay wet too. Dirt paths are also something that appears across the environment now, so if you place a building somewhere where your settlers and animals walk over a spot regularly, then you'll see that its grassy appearance disappears. Outside of changes to the environment and temperature system, we've also added ladders as a new structure. These can be built wherever you like to connect multiple levels, and will allow your settlers to traverse vertically. You can also stack them on top of each other to create a giant mecha ladder if you like. Ladders are very useful for optimizing how your settlers move through a settlement, as they can help you direct them towards important tasks. However, there are some limitations to them, as they're a little slower to climb than stairs, and most animals can't use them either. This might be useful though, as you can use ladders to make hunting towers for your settlers. It might be cowardly, but they'll be much safer fighting bears and wolves from a distance. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to download the new update for Going Medieval from today. If you'd like to keep up to date with the game, you can join our community on Discord or follow us on Twitter.